talk, revealing every hurting thought, sharing how she got it together when things fell apart. GiGi speaking from the heart, hoping that your healing starts. When you hear these words of her, she praying that they be that spark that reignites you, or rekindles that fire deep inside you, re-excites you. Got you seeing your future so much brighter, smiling spider. Any situation you going through, see her desire is to welcome you back to loving you. Fellas, yeah, we welcome too. She know we be going through, but a lot of times we hide it inside. That's just what we do. Now she got a space for you so you can share your point of view. She only asks you keep it a buck when you expressing you. Say it like you see it, no sugarcoating, no secrets. It's okay to get it all in the open. She know we need it. Somebody need to see it. It's freedom when we release it. Too many die stuck in their pride when they try to keep it. Hidden in the dark, they was broken and torn apart. She really ready to listen if you really wanna talk. There's no better place to start. We need these combos from the heart. It's time we break every chain that's weighing on your heart.
Welcome to these convos with GiGi. Let's get to these convos with GiGi. Welcome to these convos with GiGi. Let's get to these convos with GiGi. Welcome to these convos. Welcome to these convos. Welcome to the convo. Welcome to the convo. Welcome to these convo.
What's up, everybody? What is good? It is your girl, GiGi, aka Gina, aka Regina Elaine. Listen, we are back, y'all. We're back live with Convos with GiGi. You know, my birthday, that was my introduction back into the Convos with GiGi, but I am super excited about this show on tonight. It's good to be back. I missed y'all. Y'all know what it is already. It is real talk, real conversation. I don't know any other way to do it. But tonight I have my big brother. He's no stranger to Convos with GiGi. He's going to be chopping it up with me on tonight. We're going to be talking about navigating the valley. Listen, this is going to be some good convo. Go ahead and run to the kitchen, grab you something to drink, get you a little snack, and get comfortable so you can talk with us. I'm going to bring him up for those who are new and don't know a lot about him so he can introduce himself, and we're going to jump right into conversation. Big brother, what's good?
What's up, baby girl? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling
Good.
good. Glad to be back. Glad to be on the show again, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here again. Good to be here again. And I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm doing my also known as Danny, Danny D. Nice, reborn. What's up, everybody? It's good to see y'all again. For the ones that already know me. What's up to the one that's new? Let's get to it.
Man, let's get to it. Like I said, if y'all new to Convos with GiGi, this is what we do. We come on and we just have real talk with real conversation. Tonight, we're going to be talking about navigating the valley. So if you've been following me on Facebook, I think I posted on TikTok too. I posted a little clip of my brother leading up into his sermon he was getting ready to give, and he had such an awesome testimony. Man, it just blessed my life, and I'm like, he has to tell this thing. So normally I tell it for him. You know, they say you can't tell it like I tell it. What's up, Nasal?
Nasal.
But listen, I be wanting to tell it for him because this dude, man, when I tell you I have never seen faith in action like I've seen with my big brother. He has countless testimonies, and all of them were like some major things that has gone on in his life, man, for years. And so I want to talk about tonight, because there's a lot of us, man, we've been hit. Listen, life been lifing. We've been hit. We've had some disappointments. We've been in some low spots, man. We've been in that valley trying to find our way out. And he's walked it. He knows how to navigate it. He knows how to tell you turn here, turn there. And so I wanted to pick his brain on tonight and let him tell us about that. So, for those who don't know your story, you want to share some things as much as you're comfortable about some of the different things that you've gone through.
Yeah, not a problem. So this I have to go back to 2015. That's kind of where the major things kind of came into play. Of course, everybody, of course, life is be life for everybody, but these from 2015 to present, they were kind of extreme. So since 2015, every 4 years, faced a life-threatening sickness, uh, where most of the time the doctors didn't know what it was, and they just kind of shook their head. The first being cancer, that was 2015, 16, and then 20, 19, 20. It was some type of autoimmune uh, situation that where it was causing my body to shut down. They told me my body was presenting as if I had overdosed on heroin. I don't know anyone that ever has had that happen, so I don't know what that normally looks like. But for me, it was my organs were shutting down, and they didn't know why. And recently, the end of 23, 24, I had stroke and heart failure. Uh, and in that, I tell people the stroke probably saved my life because I didn't know about the heart failure until I was in the emergency room. So, um, lot to deal with at one time. But I'll say that I dealt with the last situation differently than I dealt with the first.
Can you tell them about the stroke though? Don't breeze over that. Tell them about how normally everybody see the commercials and stuff on television, right? And say that if you have signs of a stroke, do not wait. Call 911. Get to the emergency room. Tell them what happened in your situation, big brother.
So my situation, I had my stroke in my sleep. So I went to bed feeling fine, probably a little fatigued. I woke up the next day and really it felt like I maybe slept on my arm wrong and had a little headache and really didn't pay any attention. I actually went to work the first day and worked a whole day. And so in my employment, I have a morning call that I talk to my guys, and I noticed I had trouble focusing and couldn't get my speech together, but still didn't pay any attention. So I went out and did that day's work and came home. That was on a so I had the stroke Sunday. I went to work Monday, and then when I got up Tuesday, I still it didn't seem like I was cognitive. I was kind of foggy, if you follow me, and my speech didn't improve, and my motor skills on my right side were worse. And so I went to the doctor and said, I told him something's wrong, and he said, "You had a stroke. You got to go to the emergency room now." And most of the time, they tell you go immediately. So I went a whole day before I even got to the hospital. So that was a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
And then while I was in the hospital and they confirmed I had a stroke, and the doctor, and you, of course, you were there by this time. The doctor comes in and he said, "Well, we're gonna deal with this, this, and this for your stroke, and we're gonna this is a team for your heart failure." And I was like, "Wait, stop! What heart failure?" He said, "No one ever told you you had a heart failure." I said, "No, this is the first I'm hearing it." And then they went into explaining what heart failure was and all of that. So in addition to the stroke, my heart was very weak, and what the first thing I thought about, I wonder how long it's been that way. Um, so you have to give God the praise for that. For this was October, I know for sure since January of 23, I was in heart failure because of how low it has gotten, how weak my heart had gotten at this point, and they asked me. did I remember any symptoms. The only time, maybe one time while I was cutting the grass, I got winded. But other than that, and I work a physical job. I work outside, so I just praise God for that because the Friday before the stroke, me and one of my guys were outside potholing on the side of the road. And that's pretty much digging a hole with post over diggers. And you know, my heart could have stopped at any time doing that uh,
Mm.
manual labor. So it was a lot to be grateful for. A lot of coverage, uh, got my angels watching out for me and
For
keeping me
sure. Man, for
just at
sure.
bay. And as far as the clip you was talking about, I have to give God the glory for that. And it's so much anti-Christian, anti-Christ in the world today. And I just wanted to let them know I don't care what y'all say. Uh, I'm not going back to anything.
Listen,
Yeah, you can
that's a
have
done
what you
deal,
got.
man.
You know what I'm saying? You can have what you got. I hear you talking, but my evidence is overwhelming.
The evidence. Come
It's
on.
it's overwhelming. So it doesn't matter
The
what you're talking
evidence.
about. This is a real life. It's not nothing. My theory on anything. Not nothing in a book. This is what I live. Um, I'm living with day to day. So e- every day, no joke, no kind of filter, whatever y'all wanna call it. This is real life. And until you can show me something other where somebody else went through the same thing and had the same results, then it- you know,
We ain't got
I,
nothing else
don't-
to
I don't,
talk about.
I don't, we don't have a discussion. So feel how you feel about it. This is what I'm standing on. You know.
And just the part right there, Danny, that's what I say. I tell everybody. I said, if you can't look at my life and tell the ears of God, I don't know. I don't, especially people who know me. Like if at this point, you've watched me from years up into present. And if you still deny the fact of a God who saves and delivers, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah. And I say something similar to that. So I know we twins, but what I say is, if you can't see the positive change Christ has made in my life, you either a liar or never met me. You didn't meet me. Seriously, from
I'm gonna take that
after
on.
I graduated until now, if you can't tell the change that God has made in my life, you a liar or you never met me. That's the only two things you got. Now you
Only
may
two
not want to
options.
recognize it, but if you knew me before, you ain't no way. Ain't no way. And I stand on that as well. You a liar. You a liar. You didn't know me, or you lying. So so
I'm gonna steal that one from you, big brother.
yeah. So you can, like I said, you can say what you will. I mean, and everybody has that right. But
Absolutely.
he is my truth. I'm his evidence. That's a
Ah,
quotable.
say that
You
one
can
more
put that on the
time.
shirt. He's my truth. I'm his evidence.
I'm getting ready to print that tonight. Tonight. Y'all look for it. He's my truth. And don't y'all steal that either. I'm his evidence.
Yeah. Put it on a
That's
hoodie for
going on
me.
the shirt this night. It'll be the link will be posted in the morning. If not tonight. I love it. I am here for it.
Yeah.
And so tell me about how it was. When you initially, because you said one thing that you said was that you handled this last situation different than you did the others. So tell me, when it came to the cancer and the autoimmune that tries to plague our family, that none of us know what's going on with that. How was those instances for you in the times when you first got the diagnosis,
Yeah.
and did
So
fear try to grip you?
yes. So definitely three different perspectives and stages. So with the cancer, that's kind of the first thing I had that was life threatening, right? And so uh I remember thinking, man, what I do to deserve this, right? How me? Like I didn't smoke or nothing like that. And my doctor said, "Well, some people just get cancer." I went, who does that? Where is that at? Some people just get it. And he said, "Yeah, you just it happens. You have the whatever it takes for it to form." And first I thought it was kind of payback uh, for the lifestyle that I live in.
Yeah.
And then so I said too, I said, well, all this time while I was out in the world cutting up, I didn't get sick at all. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing happened. And as soon as I changed my
Right.
life, I get this. So um so I guess fear did come, didn't know the outcome. So a lot of times and you may have heard me say this before now, but at that time I didn't tell a lot of people the first chemo didn't work. So it was causing me to go deaf. And so they had to change. They said, well, we got one more thing we can try. And if they don't work, there's nothing else we can do. So they put me on a aggressive chemotherapy plus I did radiation every day. And I couldn't tell how bad I looked, but you saw how that aggressive chemo affected me. And I can only say it was bad because of how the family reacted when they saw me. Most people just cried, and I'm like, man, what?
No,
I must be look pretty
I'm
pretty
most
bad.
people. I'm most people. I try not to. I try my best, but you know how it is with your heart. But I try not to, but I couldn't help it.
Yeah. So um, it was a kind of rough go with the they had me on morphine and all that kind of stuff, uh, and to this day I have some scarring in my throat, so I have these bad cramps in my throat every now and then. Not as
I didn't
much,
know that.
but um, I just said got to the point where I talked to God and He said, "You gonna trust me or what?" That's where I get that from. That's what He told me. You gonna trust me or what? Uh, I know what they're saying. I know what you're feeling, but what you gonna do? I'm able to
Yeah.
do it. Are you able to trust? And that's when I started telling people, hey, listen, if you ain't came in here to help me fight, I'd rather you love me from a distance.
Yeah.
No, no. And that, a lot of people say, you ain't told your family that. I say, I promise you, I told
Absolutely.
them. If you come in
Absolutely.
here crying and stuff like that, you gotta get up out of here. I can't have no and I tell my church members that too. They say, you told your family that? I said, yeah,
I told Bishop them you told me that.
yeah. You
I
ain't here.
sure did, and I said, Lord, you're telling the truth, but still, I was out my emotional side. But I got it together. I learned. So what I would do, and I don't know if you remember when I was up there with you and when you was getting your chemotherapy, I said, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I went to the bathroom when I cried, look at the mirror, and then I came back smiling.
Yeah,
They go tell me I can't cry.
yeah, yeah. But I don't. And I understood the crying and worrying, but when you're in battle, which is what it was, is spiritual war.
Right.
Um, you got to put that stuff aside, put your
Do.
emotions aside. I'm in a fight for my life, and I could have felt the same way. Woe is me, but God say trust Him now. I'm riding.
Yep.
I'm riding. Um, so with the next one, I had already been through that, right? So um, my wisdom has gotten more. My faith had got stronger already. And a friend of mine, we was talking. He said, um, "The enemy will make you try to make you get off the word by threatening your life." And later, I found the scripture. How do you overcome the devil? By the blood of the Lamb, the word of His testimony, and loving your life not unto death. So um, that night after y'all left and everything, I felt like it was going to be the night, right? I was kept getting worse. My numbers were going up steadily at that time, and I don't know what the number is, but it was supposed to be 9, like 09, and it was 80,000.
Mhm.
So I was in a pretty bad way, and I started saying that night, I am the righteousness of Christ. I'm the righteousness of Christ. So when the death would come, um, that was a no go. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was really my turning point as far as trusting what God's saying, and start to learn that I do have authority, that I can speak to my illness. And I told you, I think God was kind of doing something with me in healing and sickness,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that sort of thing. So I think He's still working on me with that. I've spoken to some other people, some other things, and had some results, but uh, it's not nothing I really just talk about, because it's not for that, you know.
Right.
Um, so I'm still on that journey now, and but that's when I uh kind of came up with, you got to come into agreement with God. It was at that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't do anything special. All I did was agree with what God said, and I started looking at, when I would read. Um, I would suggest this for everybody. I start looking at the words where they were plural or singular, and the meaning started to change from. He says, and what the tense of it was. He said, "By your stripes you are healed. It's already done." Right. And so that's how I started to think. So when any sickness comes about, I start at healed spiritually, and then my physical has to catch up. And that's kind of the how I operate.
Mm-hmm.
Even with this last thing that happened, the heart failure and the stroke, I started out, um, I'm healed already. So I think that's Tuesday. I got in the hospital. I was up and walking by Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was walking through the hallways on that floor, I used to, I used to make the nurses nervous. I get out the bed and they come running in the room because the beds had alarms on them,
Mm-hmm.
thinking I fell out the bed. And I'd be walking, "Where
Yeah.
you going?" "I'm going to the bathroom,"
Yeah.
And they finally they got permission from the doctor on that floor that I could walk the halls. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking the halls, looking in the other rooms at people that's been there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just giving God glory that I can walk and look in
Yeah.
the rooms at people that
Right.
have been here before me. And I would pass the nurses, and I had my sweatpants on. They
Mm-hmm.
said, "Oh, you the patient." I had to say, "I got to give God some." You didn't even know I was the patient,
Right.
you know. And I would go sit in the chair, and they come in the room, and they look at the bed, and they look at me, thought I was a visitor. And so
Yes.
that's the glory of God. And I don't take that for granted. Or but what I would tell people, and I try to. It was nothing special about me. It was zero special about me. Not because I was a preacher, not because who my family is. It's just that I said I'm going to agree with what God says, even though I can't see it. It doesn't feel like it. Even though I'm having trouble using my hands and trouble with my speech, uh, I still believe I'm healed,
Mm-hmm.
in that, and satisfied, because I said, if I don't recover any more from where I'm at now, I'm good.
Right.
And so I think for some people it may be hard to, that doesn't make sense, to say you're healed and you can barely talk. You can't wiggle your fingers, which is was this hand, which I can wiggle now. I couldn't. I,
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of maybe do like that.
I remember that.
I couldn't. I had to teach myself to write again.
Yep.
And the joke I make is my handwriting is better than it was before I had the stroke. It's better
Come
now.
on. Come
How
on.
about that? Yeah, because I had to like to get I got the little book writing book where you have to make
Mm-hmm.
your, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
the kid would get, and so I
Yes.
had to relearn how to write. So now my writing is a lot better than it was before I had the stroke.
Yeah.
So just a lot of things in that, and then with the heart failure part, um, when I got out of the hospital, the lady came and I had to get the vest to put on, and that was another point when fear came, and I don't want, especially to believe is don't think that the attack won't come. It's what you do when the
Hmm.
attack comes. Like I told you one time before, it's the emotion is not wrong. It's the response to the emotion.
Right.
What do you do when it comes? Because anger, fear is gonna come, doubt's gonna come. That means you're human. But
Hmm.
how you respond to those things is the difference. So the lady came, nice lady, she had no malice in her heart when she came. And so she's explained to me about the life vest, how it works and everything, how to take care of it and everything, and told me what it was for. And it said she said you're at risk for what's called sudden cardiac death. I said, wow. She said, yeah, if your heart were to get out of rhythm or for any reason, you can't recover. So you got to wear this 23 and a half hours a day. You only take it off to get a shower, keep your shower short, and then it's back on. You sleep in it, everything. And so, and then she said, which I laugh at now. She said, most people want to know what this feels like because what it all is a defibrillator vest that
Hmm.
shocks you, right? She said,
Hmm.
yeah. Most people say want to know what it feels like. It feel like somebody just slaps you in the face. And I was thinking to myself, lady, ain't nobody asked you nothing about how that feel. Why would you
Right.
tell me that? Well, why? I'm like, I don't know who you've been talking to. I don't want to know how it
Right.
feels. You know, I think I went to bed more nervous about it shocking me if I couldn't sleep like it might have a misfire or something. I don't know what was going on.
Right.
you know,
Man.
I don't want to wake up to getting slapped in the face and like I had a hard time going to sleep that
That's
night.
it.
Like, man. So but yeah, like I said, she didn't I don't she didn't mean anything by it. But
No.
then that's what it kind of hit home that this thing was serious. Like I got to keep this vest on in case my heart uh I could have sudden cardiac death. She didn't say no,
Right.
and you're gonna be all right. She said sudden cardiac death. That means just sudden, just like fall down and you out of here.
Yeah.
And and after I was putting the vest on, she made sure I know how to use it. And I'm putting it on. I'm fastening it. It's like man. But then God said, "Well, you you've been without it since January. Uh,
Sure.
that vest wasn't keeping you. If I kept you 10 months,
Come on. That
surely."
part.
Surely I got these three. And so again, so all my job was to agree with him. Again, disagree with him. And so when I walk around and uh people say, "You all right?" Yeah, I'm fine. And they say, "We got the vest on." Yeah, I got it on, but it's not the vest ain't keeping me. I got it on. It's aggravating more than anything. I'm walking around, gotta put my backpack on, can't do this or that, you know.
Yeah.
And but the first couple of days I was hesitant about taking it off. I take it off and hurry up and change the battery in and put it back on. Phew,
Yeah.
got that done. And after a while, I was like, do you believe you really so you gotta say, or do you believe what you just said? Are you in
Right.
agreement? So my mouth said I agreed with God, but my actions say I didn't. So I think that's big too.
Hmm.
And while I don't take anything for granted, you don't like how can I put this? You take your medicine and do the things you're supposed to do physically, medically, but don't become dependent on that. So a lot of times some medicines don't work, some will make it worse. I followed my instructions, but my uh, foundation I was anchored in what he said.
Right.
If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of things you got to navigate. It's the physical stuff, and then the psychological stuff, and then the face stuff, right? Because even since 2015, I wasn't happy with my appearance because I lost so much weight. I felt like my head was bigger than my body, and Pooh was calling
And
me a
then your big,
raisin.
I was about to say your, I was getting ready to say your brother didn't help anything. Your brother did not help the
Yeah,
situation at
yeah,
all. That joker would crack jokes for days. You hear me?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know he love me though. When he
He
gets
does love
nervous,
you. I'm
he
surprised
gets
if
cracked
you
up.
don't hear text, because he watches in the background. He don't say nothing. But
Yeah. But I did have some issues with that and couldn't get my weight back together and stuff. And I don't have issues with it now, but I'm still trying to get my weight back up, and just to change my diet and all that kind of stuff. But I think through it all, I'm stronger, um, because my faith is stronger. My mentality is stronger. I feel like I'm a little bit sharper. That's what I kind of laugh. Me and God just laugh. I came out the stroke more cognitive than I did when I went in more ways than just the handwriting.
mm-hmm.
Um, so I came out better actually, to me in a lot of ways. Um,
My bishop preached it. He said, "On the other side of after, if we
yeah,
could just get to that other side, it's better than when we went in."
yeah. I'm a witness for that. Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
I'm definitely better than I was when I went in. Um, So yeah, and I think when you're trying to navigate those things, first you got to do is find your direction. When your life's been out of control, you got to find your lighthouse. You in the storm, and you're getting tossed 24. You got to turn towards the light and let that be your direction, no matter
If you
how
look
far you're out.
towards the light, you won't see your issues. I'm sorry, I felt that worship. You gotta look towards the light. Glory.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sorry.
true, and this
Woo.
and focus on that instead of that. So say focus on Him, and kind of get your bearings, regardless of the noise that's around you and everything telling you you're sick, you're not going to make it, it's impossible. A lot of times people get in trouble because they think of it from their perspective. You got to think of it from God's perspective.
And that's not just with we're talking about the example of physical, but that's in every area because what you're
Every
saying apply for me in my emotional state.
right.
I was drowning, or everything was around me, but just even in that, I had to look towards, like you said, just the light to guide me through what I was going
Hmm.
through.
Yeah, and I think one thing I want to definitely get out is even when you're in the storm, you when you have a setback, it doesn't change the promise is still the promise. So
Ah,
what I mean, if you're going forward and you fall back, like say if I would have had was got sicker or something, or or whatever the case may be, just because you have a stumble and fall, it's still you still healed. If I started feeling worse at a certain point, I'm still healed. And what the enemy would do, he would use that step back to say, see there, I told you, all that praying, all that believing, all that agreeing with God does not work, but that's a lie. But he's a liar though. So and you have to have an in spite of uh mentality. And just to use an example, say if it was some kind of financial valley, because people have different valleys. So say you've been praying about your finances to get together and you lose your house. The enemy will say, see there, you lost your house, all that praying and trusting God, it didn't do you any good. You still lost your house. So you have to do some other things to survive. But if you still stay with what God says, He's going to take you to a better house,
that's
and
right.
one that something that you can handle and it's what for you. So, and that's in any aspect. It doesn't have to be just financial. It could be emotional, uh, medical, or whatever. So just don't get um thrown off because you have a setback.
And
That's
when you
part of the
said
fight.
that, that made me think about my brother. And I want to shout out my brother, Elder AC. For those who are from my church family, he lost his mom. She transitioned, and he made a post, and he said that she wasn't a victim of cancer because her victory was in Jesus. So at the end of the day, that post, it did something for me, because
Mm-hmm.
other people will look at it and say it was a loss, like you were just saying, like, why would you see that prayer didn't work and all of that. But even in that, to see him post that and say she still has the victory. Either way, you win. And I feel like when you have that type of mentality, like, you're a whole problem for the enemy. You're a whole problem, because he, either way he try to come at you, he can't get you.
Right. And I feel the exact way. There's no way we can lose. If you're in Christ, you can't lose. Uh, and with Him, we don't die. We transition out this body. We go to sleep for a
Hmm.
moment, and it's just like a moment, and then we're with the Father. So we never lose. That's what you got to remember. You don't have to. I say be like the Hebrew boys. We don't have to bow when the music play, and the music is fear and doubt. So I'm not gonna bow.
Right.
And they said, oh King, uh, either if he does save us or not, we
Or
will
he
not
don't.
bow. And it's so many things. Just you have to get your mentality um in that state. And I like to tell people you got to live the word, not just know it. It's great to know it because that's where you get your ammunition from. But you have a fully loaded weapon, and you don't never fire it, still don't do you no good.
Right.
So practice living the word versus knowing the word. But knowing it is the first part. That's what you got to do because you can't stand on what you don't know. And that's the preacher part. Talking about y'all got to come to Bible study. But the fact the fact is that, but it's true. You can't. What you gonna fight? You don't know what to fight with. You
Hmm.
know. And that's since you don't know what to fight with, you have fear, and I think fear is one of the biggest obstacles we got to get past. No matter where
Absolutely.
you are in the body, you got to get past fear. And like I said earlier, it's gonna come, but you got to be able to get past that and say, if I do die, like the Hebrew was, if he does or doesn't, we're not gonna give in to that.
That's this is flat footed.
Hmm.
That's what Claire said. We have to stand flat footed, and that's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely, and encourage the people around you, whatever your story is, because if somebody's gonna go through what you're going through, and they're not gonna understand, how can you say that? And so if I tell people most of the time when I went back to work and stuff, people say, "Well, you don't look like you had no stroke or no heart failure." Well, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Because you taught you don't supposed to. I'm not supposed to.
That part.
But then if you and for the people that do know, that you should say amen. You say, well, I know somebody. I know him. I know he wasn't faking. I know he wasn't trying to uh, get somebody to come to Christ on some kind of gimmick. This is, like I said, this is real life. This is real life,
Hmm.
not play. So all everybody talking that nonsense. You got to show me something better. You got to show me something better than what I've been through myself. You know,
Right.
then and you can't because there's only one that can do that. So I already know that. So um yeah. So anybody got any questions?
Yeah.
Anything?
Any questions? You can throw it up in the chat, and I'll see it. I'll put on there. You can ask your questions. But what you were saying, man, that's so true, and that's been the part that has been encouraging for me, is that to see people, whether they tell me publicly on a post or behind the scenes, that they've seen my suffering, um, but they seen God literally restore. Like,
Mhm.
literally, you could see him. I saw you broken. I see how he's building you back up. I
Mhm.
see how he sustained you. I see the joy when it came back. And that's what blesses me.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the part that's encouraging to me, is because I said, out of all that I've gone through, if it's an opportunity for him to get glory, then so be it.
Yeah.
So he still get the glory from it.
Mhm. Well, let me ask you a question. How important do you think it is for believers to show their vulnerability and that they go through things? Um,
So I'm probably the wrong one to ask because I believe in being transparent. I know that you have to do that with wisdom, but for me, when I did my video, I did some videos before, and I said I'm healing openly, so you can see that I love God. I believed, I prayed for stuff, it didn't work. Period. I hurt, I was broken, and I will say that. And that's where the ideas from the hoodies came from. I'm healing, don't disturb. I'm going through my little healing stage right now.
mhm.
Just let me heal. Pray for me, let me heal. And then after he brought me through that period, so all right, now let's work on some recovery. You know,
Yeah,
which is why they made me cry so bad with the cake, honey. Them things didn't do right. Because
yeah,
I
I
put
saw
it on
that.
my hoodie. This chapter is recovery. And it the reason why that was, I'm taking a little detour. The reason why that was so emotional for me, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional right now, because that was just such a hard and trying period
Hmm.
for me. And then to see that I was able to have joy again, genuine joy, it's mind blowing because I couldn't see myself coming out of the pit. I could not see it. It hurt so bad, and every day the pain would not go away. And then to see that I legitimately laughing and enjoying life. And so when they had the cake, and it said this chapter is called recovery, and then it revealed, one of
The
my
new
my
pictures.
photos
Yeah.
of the joy in my face. It was too, I almost couldn't handle it, and it broke. Well, I didn't post that part. It really did break me down. I was broke down. I mean, I was crying because it reminded me of the faithfulness of God.
Hmm.
How did she get there? And like you said, I'm better now. It's almost like, I almost hate to say it, but almost like I needed that to happen. Like I needed it to happen the way that it did, so that he could do what he wanted to do in my life. Because I came out just more confident and more
Hmm.
aware of who I am, and
Hmm.
just confident in him. And it's like something switched in me. And I said, God, well, if that's what it took.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the thing is that the reason why I can tell it was necessary, because some things I thought that I would remain angry or upset or stuff about, it's like, no, genuinely, I'm praying. Like,
Hmm.
no, like literally. And I remember when God had first started working on that part of my healing, and I was in service and I was worshiping, and I heard to pray a certain thing, and I came clean out of worship, and I was like, I know that ain't what I heard. And I heard it again, pray. But as I did that, it made me think of, now that I'm thinking about, almost like the story of Job. It wasn't until he prayed that God started turning his captivity. And so when I was obedient through my tears and still prayed, when I tell you, just like crazy door, you saw crazy doors just started open for me. Just things just started happening. And I was like, that's why he was trying to get my posture. Trust me, like you said, trust me in this moment. I know it hurt you, but I need to see if you'll listen to what I told you to do. And I did it, but I did it with tears in my eyes, and he started turning. And I said, well, through that, as I was being obedient and walking through that process, he was healing me and setting me up with blessings and favor. Even when the enemy tried to attack, and I had conversation with you. I said, God put this peace in my spirit that regardless of what happens, I'm good. I don't know what you want to do, but either way, I made a peace with it. And when I tell you how God showed up, it's just crazy. Like, he came in, how they say, he may not come when you want him. When I tell you God came in at 11:59 and said, it looked like you're gonna win. It looked like you're gonna win. Like me gonna lose. Look like you're gonna
Yeah.
lose. Look like you're gonna lose. I said, it's all good. And he was like, I was just playing with you, girl. I just want to see if you was gonna trust me, girl. You ain't losing nothing. You about to level up. Let me just show you who I am for real. And then
Yeah.
I was, listen, after some stuff went down, I was like, what? And I was like, did that just, I was in complete awe. And I said, what? I said, God, you so awesome. And right where I was, I just started lifting my hands and just giving him glory right there where I was. I
You
said, God, you are.
you
Woo!
you had an Abraham moment. He said, Abraham, Abraham.
Listen,
He was like this. He's like, Abraham,
that's what it was.
Abraham. Oh man,
The
I'm just playing.
dagger
Go
was
ahead, cut that out.
already drawn. I was like, I'm just playing with you. Look over there in the bush,
Look at
man.
the bush over
I
there.
got
I
you.
got you. I
I got
got
you.
you.
Look over there in the bush. I was just seeing if you was gonna trust me. And I'm
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
man,
Yeah. I, I had a quick follow up question. I know you the I'm the interviewee, but so what were the chapters of recovery? Because like I said, those emotions do come. Where were you? Were you at fear one time, anger, doubt one time, and
oh
all of that?
man. First thing with me was just unbelief. Like I know better. Like I know I ain't living this life. Like I know better.
No,
I,
you
I know
lying.
this. So I went through that. I went through embarrassment because I'm like, and because I said this on my birthday post, I'm a very open person, open book. Like I said, very transparent. And so it opens the danger in that is it opens up room for opinion and people to get to give their take and stuff like that when you're doing that. And so I was embarrassed. I said, okay, now people are going to have their certain thoughts, opinions. I dealt with that. Um, I dealt with the depression. I dealt with hurt. Um, that's the reason why my hair is gone. I cut my hair. My hair, for those who don't know the true story, where I cut my hair, my locks were falling. I was so stressed. I thought about I thought about showing them pictures. I think I'm gonna do that in my book though. My locks were dropping every day. Seemed like drop here, drop there, drop there. And I would tell the girls, between the girls and Pastor, I about wore them out. I said, another one on the floor. I get up, go around. I said, another one is on the floor. But hair keep falling down. I turned to the mirror. I'm looking at, I got the camera in hand. I was like, then I got a whole big patch right there. So I said, well, let me wear the ponytail I can cover up the hole if I wear the ponytail. I was wearing the ponytail. Then the sides start dropping out. I said, well, let me shave the sides and hold on to it. And then Pastor said, just own it. And she gave me the confidence to just go ahead and really let it go. And I was asking the girls too, and they said the same thing. It wasn't just Pastor, the girls too. They was like, I think you can rock it. Just do it. And I was like, but I've been growing my hair for 11 years. But it could have been that I thought I was my hair. Like that. That gave me my feeling of self-worth and all of that.
Empty.
So it's almost like he had to strip me like, nah, you ain't your hair. You ain't all of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, let me go ahead and just it is what it is. Cause almost like I was stripped down to nothing. Physically, emotionally, everything. I was just stripped and I had to start over again. But
That's a
but the beautiful thing about it, thank you, sis. I appreciate that. The thing about it is I think that he taught me how to love me, every part of me. So not just the hair. And that's why I think that the hair looked good because I feel good. I felt like if I wasn't feeling good or love myself, then it probably would have looked crazy. But he took that whole process to let me know you're not your hair, you're not your insecurities. It's been a journey. Like he just did a whole thing. But after the anger, you asked me a question. Let me get back on task.
take your time. Take
After the
your time.
anger, after the pain, after the feelings of betrayal, after a little bit of worry, because I said, what would I do? Where would I go? Um, just what's going to happen? What's going to happen to my investment? Just different things like that. And then he settled that in my spirit. Like I said, I think that the thing that turned it for me was that moment when I was in church. I had already done cried out. I was on the altar. I kept a posture of praise. So I can't say that. That might have been my thing that helped me the most is because even when I cried, I still praised.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it's what I was supposed to do. I didn't feel like doing it, but his word said for the garment of heaviness, spirit of heaviness, put on the garment of praise. So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like praising. I didn't feel like shouting. I didn't feel like lifting my hands, but that's what he told me to do.
Yeah.
So
I did too.
I had to battle my mind and say, I know you don't feel like it. Lift your hands anyway. So I'll be crying and lift my hands. It hurt me to lift my hands. It hurt me to still do praise and worship. It hurt me to go to church. Just all kind of stuff. But that's what he told me to do. But that last thing, like I said, when he said pray, and I said, ain't no way you can hang that up. But I did it, is when he started healing me. Then I wasn't mad as much. And then I stopped thinking about the betrayal. I started thinking about the disappointment. And I started looking at finding the good stuff in it. So finding what I got out of it. Yes, but that taught me. But yeah, it forced me to look at my value. Oh, thank you, cuz friend. She said I was peeled back to the real beautiful me. And my cuz
Aw.
friend. Mew, 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 mew. Um, but it's like I'm good now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely are. You definitely are. I can see
And
it.
then of course you with your click clack
Click
and
clack.
having, and that's another thing, having the right people around you who won't let you be in the pit, that will speak life to you. That is key.
Yep.
Like you can't no, you're not gonna sit here, you're not gonna wallow in it. And I remember when I was on the phone with you, you told me, and that's what helped me brace myself, because you said you're gonna take an L regardless. You remember that conversation?
And you said
You were just straight
now,
up.
now you gotta
You
tell
said,
people you
listen,
and me keep it 100 all the
we
time. It's
keep
not
it
just
100. You said, listen, you about to take an L regardless. And you kind of talking me through that and posturing myself for that. That's key too. You have to have the right people in your life to help you navigate through it. Because sometimes, like I say, it get kind of shady, and you may lose your way. And so you need to be able to listen to that voice. And sometimes um, God will put, it may not be His voice directly, but it's His voice through people.
mm-hmm.
And so when we can't see, we need to be able to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, my eyes were too clouded with tears to see, so I couldn't see nothing. But I heard, and I heard enough to walk through until I could see, and then the light got brighter, and then I'm walking out.
Yeah.
And I think that's when he gave me healed, happy, and whole for the group, because I believe that's his ultimate goal for us, is he want us healed, happy, and whole, and say, okay, now that you've seen how to get through this, go get your sister
Right.
and help her get out of what she's in. So
Right. You I'll tell you the best part for me was when you called me that day and say, I got it now. That was
yeah,
my best day for me. I got it now. I
yep,
appreciate you. I
thank
got
you,
I got I got it. I got the ball now.
I
And we,
got it.
we were talking about like when you was I was training Tay on the bicycle and I would run beside her. And then when I
Hmm.
let her go and she started pedaling, I said, you got it, pedal, pedal, baby. Pedal. And yeah. So happy. I was happy and like, yeah, she got it. She gonna
Yep,
be all right. She
yep.
got it. And yeah, so I'm so big. I'm so excited for you and everything.
I
So
appreciate it. I
so
appreciate it. I don't think the half has been told. Just for us as a family, I know we talked about that before, and I know Nay is on here, and we've all talked about just the amount of struggle from years. That's the thing. And I said, our family has to be destined for something, because and it seems like it's not exempt. It's like, if we can't get you, we go to your children, like different things. But I love that even in that, our posture still
remains the
don't
same.
remain the same.
Hmm.
And then we teach it to them,
Yep.
like, this is what's going to happen. Your posture can't change.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest blessings out of all of it. Even no matter how it looks like, we still don't switch up. No switching up.
Hmm.
It is just is what it is. And I think for them, as far as the kids, to see us do it, and it can be done, and that's anybody. And I would say to the believers, um, you got to learn how to do it with tears, do it in fear, uh, regardless of it. Has to really, and I think just saying it is one thing, but doing it, because it's different when you in it, when you're in the situation, and
And
it's
yeah,
on you to be able to say, nah, it is what it is. I'm finna click clack. We click clacking.
We click clacking because we the
Yeah,
shark.
we the shark. You're the shark. Yeah, and we are. When Jesus descended, he didn't went in there whimpering. C-
Right.
Come up, come up off them keys. I
Right.
got,
Let me
I
get
got
that
some.
right there.
Yeah, let me get that. Run that. Run that.
Run,
Let me get
run,
that.
run me them peas real quick.
Yeah, and I think I asked you one time when does heaven run from hell? When does that happen?
And
When
they
does
don't.
heaven?
It doesn't.
Never.
We don't.
So we shouldn't either because it's already under our feet. It's already been defeated. The only thing hell has is death, and that's been defeated.
And that's defeated.
Hmm. And if you got to believe that though, got
Yeah.
to believe it and do it. Walk in it. And I tell people start with small things. Start with little things now, things you're not comfortable with. Uh, I wouldn't advise waiting until something major, and I didn't have a choice. If I could have to do over, I would do it with smaller things. So
Right.
just anything. Talk to God because you never stop being a son or a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
At work, I had to learn that too. I'm still a son at work. When I'm at work,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a son. I'm
Yep.
having a bad day, having trouble making decisions, and people getting on my nerves. I had to talk to him. What I need to do about this? And
Right.
he's the same 24/7, regardless of what you're doing. So
I love it. When I was in the kitchen today, I was just thinking about just different things. And I said, that's why that scripture said, without faith, it'll be impossible to please him. Because if you don't believe, man, you'll throw up your hands. It's like you
mhm,
have to believe,
yeah,
period. You,
period.
you, you have to believe because everything else around you will look opposite.
Hmm.
Like you said, even your body, your emotions, everything will go completely opposite of what he says. So we have no choice if we're going to be successful, and live a successful and abundant life. That's going to come in just believing what he said.
Yeah, yeah. I remember one Bible study, and I had the vest on. I said, "Now," I grabbed my vest. I say, "Now I'm healed." Which is it easier to believe, this vest that I have on my body, or me saying I'm healed? And that's what we got to get. We got to get past. Yeah, I see. I got the vest on.
Yeah.
This physical right here, I can feel it. I can feel the pads on me and everything, but I'm still here regardless. So, and it's whatever your situation is, your bank account is negative. I'm blessed.
Right.
Yeah, I see what it says. I'm blessed. Or you're an emotional wreck. Uh, yeah, yeah. God said it, and I believe it. That's
Right.
absolutely 100%. And that is the key.
Right.
God said it, I believe it. And then we don't have any other responsibility. All you gotta do is believe it. That's all he said. Just believe
Right.
it. He said it. I just believe it. So
Period.
yeah.
And right before we go, though, I want you to tell the story about how I forgot what you kept. You kept something, and you said you was keeping it as a reminder, but then God told you to throw it away.
Oh yeah. So when you do radiation, they give you a body mask where your whole body is restrained. You have two eye holes and a hole to breathe. And then they click you onto a table, they strap you down so you can't move. And so because they do the radiation. And so I kept that mask because it had my name on it at the top. And I kept it in my garage. I hung it up so I would remember the what I went through with the cancer. And then when God said to me, that's a reminder of the attack. Your hallelujah is a reminder of the victory because I couldn't talk. And now the thing at my church, I say, yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And so when I couldn't talk, the church did that for me.
Oh, I would have
Right.
cried.
And then once I got my voice back and I did it, oh, they went crazy. But that's what he said. That's the attack. The mask, the body mask, that was the attack. Your hallelujah and your praise is the victory. So he said,
Yes.
throw it in the trash. So I took it and threw it in the trash can.
And that helped me clear out some stuff because I didn't tell you this, but when I went through my situation, I had little things as reminders. I remember that story. And I went through my house and I threw things away. Honey,
Yeah.
it don't even look like the same in here. You hear me?
You're
I
right.
threw things away. I changed stuff around because nah,
No, yep. That's a dead
nah,
weight. We're not keeping any dead weight.
we're
We
not.
we moving. So yeah.
Yep. Well, I hope y'all Nate. I gotta re-put this back up here. That's what they said when she had pneumonia. I did. I told her the same thing. I said, either you gonna believe God or you not. Because she
That
did feel like she could go, Lord knows.
listen, everybody adopt that. What am I gonna do? Speak to yourself. Am I gonna trust God or what? Because that's what He asked me plain as day. You gonna what? What you doing? You gonna trust me or what? Or nah? Like people say, you gonna trust me or nah?
Oh no. What we doing? What we doing?
Right.
Like if you ain't believing in what we doing then,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
So man, this was a good convo. I appreciate you coming on. You know, I always
Anytime.
enjoy talking to you and the people get to see in public what we be doing behind the scenes because we be on the phone just enjoying Jesus, man. If y'all didn't know, cousin, hey cousin.
What's up, George?
So what I was about to say. Yeah, I said now y'all can see what we normally be doing behind the scenes when we get to talking and just encouraging each other. And I always get excited when I talk to my big brother. You are one of man the best encouragers I know. I feel better. I feel lighter, man. You are one of the reasons that I just believe what God said about me. I really do. Like after just talking,
Amen.
he was like, and this is what you're gonna do. And this is who you are. And I was like, yeah, that's who I am. Thank you. I got it from here. I got it from here.
Yeah.
I appreciate the pep talks, man. But I
Very,
got it from here.
very proud
So
moment. I
I
hope
appreciate it.
everybody gets that. Yeah, I am. That's what he said. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yes, sir.
yeah. So
Well, big brother, anything else you want to say before we close out?
nothing but just love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in and agree with God. That's the key. Just agree.
That's the key. Just agree. Until next time, people, we out.